even if your thyroid labs come back completely normal, your thyroid could still be why you are completely exhausted. If you've been told that everything looks good, everything's fine, and yet you're still dragging in the afternoons, cold all the time, foggy, and losing more hair than usual, you're not making it up. There is definitely a real reason for that gap. I spent years in the exact same spot. I went to the doctor many times, had different labs done, and everything came back completely normal. Yet my body did not feel completely normal at all. I don't think that most doctors are missing this on purpose. They're running the labs that they were trained to run, going off of the markers, the levels that they were taught to look at. But the standard tests that most doctors are using only show a small piece of what your thyroid is actually doing. So today I want to share what I've learned about why your labs might look perfect even if you feel anything but. Part that finally made my own labs make sense so you can understand what your body might actually be doing and decide your own next step from there. Hi, I'm Brittany, a certified holistic nutritionist and HTMA practitioner. HTMA stands for hair tissue mineral analysis. It's a test that shows your mineral levels and their ratios with each other over a period of about the past 3 months. And minerals matter so much for your thyroid. So it is one of my favorite tests for assessing how your thyroid is actually doing. I spent years being told that my labs were normal, even though I was taking naps every day because I could hardly function. If you're new here, this channel is for moms that want to understand their body and feel like themselves again with root cause answers instead of being told to just push through or given a band-aid fix. So if that's you, then go ahead and hit subscribe. So here's what we're covering today. I'm going to walk you through the actual journey that your thyroid hormone takes, from starting with the signal that your brain gives to your thyroid all the way to your cells where thyroid hormone works. And I'll show you the spots along the way where things can go wrong that a normal blood test testing TSH can't see. So by the end, the gap between how you feel and what your labs are saying is going to make a lot more sense. So this video is all about understanding that gap. In a video coming up, I'm going to share more about why your thyroid hormone production drops and what you can do about it. All right, so let's get into it. First, let's talk about what your labs are actually measuring, because this is where the confusion starts. If you go to the doctor and you say that you're feeling tired, you're gaining weight, you're having trouble losing weight, you're cold all the time, you have brain fog, they're probably going to test your thyroid and they're going to use a marker called TSH. That stands for thyroid stimulating hormone. Most labs consider a normal TSH to be between 0.4 and 4.0. So if your level lands in between that, usually they don't look any further. They say, oh, your thyroid is good. It's not your thyroid. Let's look elsewhere. But the way that they read that is actually a little bit backwards, because TSH is not actually a thyroid hormone. It is a brain hormone. It is a message from your brain telling your thyroid how much hormone to push out. So if your test comes back with high levels of TSH, your doctor will tell you that your thyroid is underactive. Your brain is producing so much of that TSH and it's like shouting at your thyroid, like, make more hormone, make more hormone. So if it's having to do that, it's having to shout at your thyroid, then your thyroid is probably underactive. It's not currently making enough hormone. And if your TSH comes back low, your doctor will probably tell you that you have a hyperactive thyroid. So your brain is getting quieter with that message to tell your thyroid to make more hormones, because there's already plenty of hormone going around. It doesn't want it to make much more. The catch is TSH is only the messenger. It is not your thyroid hormone itself. I like to think of it as a thermostat on the wall. The thermostat might read a perfect 70 degrees, yet you are standing in the room, you are freezing with a coat on, bundled up with a hat and gloves. You're freezing, and just because the heat is reaching where the thermostat is, it might not be reaching you. I know for sure, like when we have our fireplace on in our family room, our thermostat is also in our family room. So it gets hot in our family room, our thermostat reads that, and it bumps down the temperature, which controls the whole house. So when we go into our bedroom to sleep at night, it's freezing. So the number on the wall did not actually reflect what the whole house felt like. So this is the piece I want you to walk away with. TSH is only one marker. It is not everything. It does not tell you everything about your thyroid. It measures just one moment, the moment the technician draws the blood from your bloodstream. And it's the marker that starts at the top of the chain in your brain. But think about everything that thyroid hormone has to go through for you to experience energy. The active thyroid hormone T3 is needed to move glucose and oxygen into your cells to create energy. But in order to do that, it has to go through some steps first. Your brain has to signal your thyroid to make the hormone. Then your thyroid has to make the hormone, but it makes mostly an inactive form of that hormone. So then your body has to convert that hormone into its active form. That happens mostly in your liver and your gut. Then your cells have to actually take in that hormone and use it. So that's the whole journey, and TSH only tells us about the very first step, your brain. So it is impossible to know completely how your thyroid is doing and how well your cells are using that thyroid hormone by just checking TSH. A normal TSH tells us that the signal is doing okay. Your brain is telling your thyroid to make hormone like it's supposed to. Great, that's what we want, but that's only part of the story. So let's walk through the other places along the journey where things can break down. So the first place is the signal itself, TSH. And whether or not this marker is good is very tied to stress. When your labs look normal, but you feel exhausted, it doesn't mean that your body is failing you. It means that your body is doing what it's supposed to do, what it's designed to do. Your nervous system is constantly scanning your environment and adjusting. So if you've been carrying a lot of stress for a long time, it starts to dial things down. It dials down functions that aren't necessary for your immediate survival, to conserve energy and make sure that you do have enough energy for the things that are necessary for survival. Your thyroid, the butterfly-shaped gland right here on your neck, sets the pace for your metabolism. So if there's a big demand on your body, a lot of stress going on, and not enough resources coming in to handle all that stress, your metabolism has to downshift. So your thyroid tells your cells to do that. Your thyroid tells your cells to lower metabolism, lower output. So when cortisol, your main stress hormone, stays high for a long time, it actually signals your brain to make less TSH. It lowers the amount of TSH. So it tells your thyroid to lower its production of its hormones. And remember, doctors usually say, like, if you have low TSH, that means your thyroid is overactive, but that is not always the case. Chronic stress can actually push TSH down into what looks like perfectly normal levels of TSH. Your TSH might actually be in that optimal range. And so your doctor might say, nope, it's not your thyroid, nothing wrong here. Even though your thyroid is actually running low. You just can't tell that by looking at that brain hormone. This doesn't mean that your body is malfunctioning. It means that it is down regulating on purpose. It is a protective move, and it can make your blood work look better than you feel. Your next place along the journey is thyroid conversion. So your thyroid mostly makes a hormone called T4, which is a storage form. It's not active. Your body doesn't use it to create energy. It has to be converted into the active form called T3. That is the hormone that your cells run on. Your energy, your body temperature, your focus, your digestion, even how your skin looks and how, thick and healthy your hair is. All of that is dependent on that active T3. And most of the conversion does not happen in your thyroid itself. It actually happens in your liver and your gut. So you might have a good amount of TSH go into your thyroid. Your thyroid might be making enough T4. So those first two steps might be great, but if your liver or your gut are not healthy, you're not going to be converting that hormone as well as you should be. And a standard blood panel does not show you that because it's not measuring whether that conversion is happening. It's just checking the signal at the top, and sometimes they go further and check the second signal, T4. In another video, I'll get more into how that conversion slows down and what to do to actually help that step of the process. But for now, just know that this is a step that labs are not usually catching. Okay, here's where it gets interesting. So we know stress can cause TSH to lower and therefore thyroid hormone output to lower. We know conversion can have issues if our liver and gut are not doing good. And another thing can work against you in having good, healthy thyroid hormone. Under stress, instead of turning that inactive T4 into active T3, your body can move it down a different pathway instead. It can convert it into something called reverse T3. Reverse T3 is another inactive form. But it doesn't just sit there quietly and just kind of relax in the background. No, it actually goes to the cell and it parks itself in the same place that active T3 should be parking and connecting with your cells. So it actually blocks T3 from doing its job. It's almost like it's a key that fits the lock, but it doesn't turn it. And it's in the keyhole. It's taking up the space so that the real key can't get in and turn the lock, unlock the door, and let the glucose and oxygen in. So that's a big deal. So that means that you could have normal TSH, normal T4, but you're making reverse T3 instead of regular T3. And most doctors aren't checking reverse T3 at first. Okay, and the last stop on the journey is one that almost no test checks, and that is actually in your cells. So let's say your brain is making enough TSH, your thyroid's making enough hormone, that hormone is getting converted into T3 like it's supposed to be. You could still be low on energy because that T3 is not getting into the cell to regulate metabolism. It has to make it all the way through all those steps to be able to tell your cells to make energy. So we know reverse T3 can take up that keyhole and can block the hormone receptors. Inflammation is something else that can get in the way. And your minerals play a very big role here. When your potassium is low, or your calcium is high compared to your potassium, your cells have a harder time responding to thyroid hormone and letting the thyroid hormone in, even if your blood work looks perfect. On an HTMA test, it's actually the calcium to potassium ratio that's called the thyroid ratio. It is one of the main things I look at on an HTMA. It tells us at the cellular level if thyroid hormone is able to get into the cells and do its job. And this cellular piece really matters because you can have hormone levels that look fine on paper, but you still feel like you have hypothyroidism. You feel very slow, sluggish, tired all the time, cold, brain fog. You're not able to think as clearly or remember things as well as you used to. Your skin is kind of dull and dry. Your hair is brittle and dry and falling out. All those same symptoms that are classic hypothyroid symptoms. And no blood test is showing you what is happening inside your cells. Okay, so let's bring this together. Getting thyroid hormone from a signal in your brain to actual energy in your cells using glucose and oxygen like they're supposed to actually create energy to run all the processes of your body. It's a long journey. It's a long journey from your brain to your cells. And a standard panel only checks the very first step, only checks TSH. Along the way, chronic stress can lower TSH and actually make your thyroid look better than it is. You might not be converting that storage form into active form. If you have gut issues going on and liver congestion going on, it might be making more reverse T3 to downregulate your metabolism because you have a high demand with not enough coming in and it has to make some cuts. And even if all your blood work looks amazing, your cells still have to take in that hormone and use it. So the afternoon crash, feeling cold all the time, brain fog, hair all in the shower drain, those are classic signs that your cells are not getting enough thyroid hormone. They're not getting that signal that they need to ramp up metabolism. So your symptoms that you're feeling are real. They're not all in your head, even if your blood work does not reflect how you feel. Your body has been responding to stress and depletion in a logical way, in the way that God designed your body to work. Stress causes more demand on your body and it depletes your minerals more. And if you're not giving your body what it needs, it has to downshift things. So once you understand that, you can stop fighting with your body and start giving it what it is actually asking for. All right, a couple of things you can do from here. If you want a bigger picture than just TSH, then by all means, ask your doctor for it. Ask your doctor to test you with the full thyroid panel, including your T4, free T3, and reverse T3, not just TSH. You are allowed to ask for that, right? It's your body and you have to be your own health advocate. If you think that, your doctor is not testing everything they should be, then speak up. By all means, speak up for yourself and ask for that testing. And in my next video, I'm going to walk through why the body stops converting enough active T3 and what actually helps your thyroid boost up its production and get better at converting and getting hormone into the cell. So if you want to watch that one, make sure you subscribe to my channel and be on the lookout for that. Since stress is such a big piece of this picture, one of the best places to start is easing the load that your body is carrying. So I put together this free guide for you. It's called Stress Relieving Tips for Busy Moms. It has simple, realistic tips to help you relieve some of that stress. So the link for that is in the description below. And you can start supporting, why your body may be downshifting your thyroid and your metabolism. So you can create less demand on your body and it's able to bring your metabolism back up again. All right, well, thank you so much for being here and taking your health and your symptoms seriously. That is amazing. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.